Back to bulls, back to reality, back to the here and now, yeah. Welcome everybody to another episode of Savage Cash. Here with me, your superhero of cryptocurrency, the Supoman. In the last 24 hours, the bulls came, but they didn't go, and they certainly haven't gone straight away. So what does that mean? Is this a bull trap, or actually is this the beginning of this aggressive bull movement that I have said is likely to be coming once this bearish phase has gone? So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be saying, is this a long-term bullish movement, or should you actually be waiting for another bearish movement? Is this just a bull trap at the end of the day? So if you're excited to learn about whether you should buy now or should you wait a little bit, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. And also, if you haven't yet, make sure that you do subscribe to Team Supoman for commentary on a daily basis on what's happening, what's looking good, analysis, ICOs, all of that good stuff. So let's firstly recap. So let me just make sure that I'm live, first of all, because this would be slightly embarrassing if I wasn't. Well, it's saying I'm not live, but I'm just going to go on the assumption that I actually am live. So anyway, moving on. So yesterday we saw that we were consolidating this kind of bearish momentum. Okay, so we were in the kind of late 6,000s, 6,800, 6,900, and then boom! All of a sudden, within the space of 45 minutes, the price just surged from late 6,000s to early 8,000s. Just like that. Now, as I suppose to be expected, after such a bullish kind of movement, aggressive bullish movement, it pulled back quite a lot to nearly the mid 7,000s. However, it's not gone away. It's only gotten stronger. In fact, the price currently exceeds by over nearly $100 where it reached yesterday. So I asked earlier on ye old Twitter, I said, what do you personally think of this sudden bullish movement? Now, having collated literally nearly 3,000 votes in the space of an hour, 59% think this is the start of a bull period, 41% believe it's a bull trap. So let's have a look at the state of play. So currently we are sitting at 327 billion market cap. This has gone up astronomically since the other day. About 60 billion has re-entered, probably a bit more, has re-entered the market, right? And it seems as if, that everything is green today. Pretty much everything. I mean, you have to be a loser to not be green today. Anyway, unless, of course, you've just been growing massively with no apparent substance behind it. So let's have a look at what's been happening. So this tweet actually summarized that this was one of the biggest bull momentums ever. Okay, so ready to have your mind blown? More Bitcoin traded hands in just 1 hour than any other time in history, looking at the volume. 1.2 billion trading volume in 1 hour. And it was so significant that you can see in this year view, well, actually, it's probably more about 7 months view, 5 months view. You can see quite a significant line created just by 1 hour of activity. So let's have a look and see what's going on. So one of the reasons, if you haven't already heard, then basically it's to do with Bitcoin being permissible under Sharia law. So this opens the cryptocurrency market and Bitcoin market to investment from 1.6 billion Muslims. Okay, so this has opened out to a whole new market, essentially. That is one of the reasons. So the study's author points to the fact that Bitcoin is recognized as a legal currency in Germany and therefore qualifies as Islamic money in that country. Bitcoin is permissible in principle as Bitcoin is treated as valuable by market price on global exchanges. Blah, 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 blah. So this being opened out to Muslims is one of the key reasons why people believe this is why the bull momentum came about. If we have a look, there's another article. Yahoo Japan is buying a 40% stake in a cryptocurrency exchange. Another very positive article. Now, this article right here is talking about, right, there's been some steady growth. What are the potential reasons behind it? So again, this reaffirms that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is permissible under Sharia law. And there's another reason, which is that Santander, I call it Santander for some reason, Santander's news that they were creating a blockchain payment solution with Ripple, which I talked about yesterday. And also there was the liquidation of short positions. So according to Miguel Schweizer, the co-founder of hedge fund Quantia Capital, the price jump caused short sellers to close positions, spurring a waterfall of buy orders. So there were more than 38,000 Bitcoin short positions as of April the 12th. Now, today's Friday the 13th. So could this day be bad luck? And what else? So, and another article is talking about, will it last? Okay, so the price has spiked, but is it going to last? And one commentator has said that yesterday's price increase could actually quickly fade away. So the sharp gains does not necessarily mean prices will continue to push higher now, even if that is what we and others think. Indeed, it's not uncommon in bear trends to see sharp short-term counter-trend moves every now and again. Typically, these types of moves in bear trends last several days before the downtrend resumes. Now, we have seen very, very similar before. We have seen downtrends that, we've seen that there have been sharp uptrends during a downtrend, and it only goes down again. We have actually seen this recently. So this happened when the price went right down here, and then it had a nice spike up. Bitcoin went from 5,000 or so, 5,900, and spiked up to 12,000. It went down to 7,000, went up again to 9-ish thousand at the end of March. I remember this, and then it sunk once again back to the mid 6,000s. So it just goes to show that during a bearish movement, that these short, sharp price spikes can actually occur. Now, is this a short price spike, or is this actually the indication of a long-term bull movement? Now, personally speaking, this is just personal opinion, and I do want to reiterate that. As with every single video I do, this is my personal approach. Because the last thing I want to hear is, oh, Superman, I'm not buying because you're not buying. Right? I've never wanted to, create that kind of atmosphere. And so I don't want to say to you, just do as I do, don't do as you feel or whatever. Because a lot of what cryptocurrency is emotional. What we are seeing right now is positive emotions kind of overflowing. Because we have seen a big price spike, all of a sudden the perception has changed. Where a week ago, most people were feeling very, very negative about cryptocurrency. A lot of people mentally were finding it difficult to cope with the fact that Bitcoin was, in the mid to late-ish $6,000, Bitcoin was, and that cryptocurrencies were just moving sideways. They were going down or moving sideways. They weren't really going up dramatically or up enough to make you think that a sustained bull period was coming. And so people were in this mindset of defeatism, of despondency, and now because of one simple, short, sharp price spike, it's almost turned that sentiment completely around so that now there is confidence. So it has gone from a sentiment of fear now to confidence, particularly because the spike was so aggressive. It was obscenely aggressive. And it suddenly made people think, because there has been this price suppression for so long, that all of a sudden that massive kind of bullish move in the price kind of made people think, right, you know what? It must be a change. And the thing is that I just personally do not believe it. And now, is it a good time to buy? Well, I never think that it's a good time to buy when things are on the rise, because the time to buy, as I've constantly reiterated, is during dips. When the price goes down to here, you buy during dips, or, some people don't know if the dip's going to end, here or here or here, but I buy during dip movement. I don't buy during bullish and price spiking movement, because all that does is open you out to the potential to be burnt. Whether or not you subsequently get burnt, the risk is much higher buying at this point, which is why I constantly reiterate that buying during the dips is where you do the work. So I have not bought as much as I would like to during this dip, but that doesn't mean that I am going to have my hand forced to buy during the rise, because I personally think it is going to calm down. I mean, what you can see happening with the Bitcoin price is that you can see constant is going up. It's going up quite dramatically. And then it continues to kind of, I suppose it continues to break through this resistance that you think, right, okay, so maybe it isn't, you know, a sustained bull movement. Maybe it is just a short price spike. But the longer it stays, the more, and the higher it rises, the more it breaks through that resistance, and you mentally think, right, this is the time to start buying, because I think it's going to just be aggressive from here and go all the way up. Personally speaking, I do think, well, my resistance has not been broken. I personally think that we are going to see the price falling again. Now, whether I'm right or not, fundamentally doesn't matter, because there are a lot of commentators right now that are saying Bitcoin, this is a bull trap, and there are equally the same number of reputable cryptocurrency analysts and commentators saying that it is an actual sign of a bullish momentum moving up towards where we said it was going to go towards, you know, back up towards, you know, the 5 figures and the good 5 figures as well. But I personally just don't think this is the time. I don't think that time is coming just yet. And I think that what we've seen here has tried to be explained almost like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. People are trying to find reasons. And the fact of the matter is that I think that it's an accumulation of reasons, personally speaking. I think it is liquidating of short positions. I think there is, you know, a turnaround in the sentiment that has made people buy. But I also think at the same time that there is a substantial amount of large buyers that caused this to happen at the same time. Okay, because what this has stimulated, this has now stimulated demand. This has stimulated demand for Bitcoin. And when there's demand, it's easy to sell into that demand. It's easy for whales to have bought in at a largish position down here. And let's face it, they've got a lot of fiat to buy at this point down here. It creates the demand. It creates the sentiment. The best time to sell a cryptocurrency is when there is a sentiment and when people are really blowing and hyping something up, because you know the demand is there, that when you sell into that demand, you're going to have your sell orders activated. Okay, now when something is destroyed, so let's say BitConnect, when that was destroyed, there was no longer any demand. Nobody could sell their BitConnect tokens for $300, $400, $500 because the demand sank dramatically. Okay, so this is almost a perfect scenario for whales to gobble up the smaller investors. Okay, so there is that danger, and I'm personally, even if for some unknown reason the tide changes significantly enough that the whole market just keeps buying because the emotions have because people's emotions have run away with them, and all of a sudden they just start buying up. So even if it falls, people buy it up and it doesn't break the resistance. So it could go up because an emotional switch has been turned completely. It could happen, but personally speaking, there is every likelihood that it could also come right down and in fact go below where we were at, about $6,800. So it's a time to be cautious. I personally would not recommend buying at this time. That doesn't mean you shouldn't, but personally speaking, I'm not, and I personally wouldn't recommend it. But what you see at times like this is you do see that, everybody is trying to be a doctor. I mean, going back to this, if you think about what technical analysis is almost like trying to be a doctor, trying to x-ray So basically, when you are putting indicators and putting charting tools on a chart like this, looking at the price, it's like x-raying an arm that is hurt. Okay, you're x-raying it and you're trying to see, right, what are the possible faults? Have you sprained it? Have you broken it? Have you twisted it badly? Is it temporary, or is it actually a break and it needs to be fixed? That is what technical analysis is. It's like x-raying the charts. It's like trying to find a problem and coming up with a solution, coming up with a diagnosis and saying, right, okay, so there is a head and shoulders pattern. That must mean a reversal in price. Okay, so that is like the x-raying and the analysing and the diagnosing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that technical analysis is completely bulletproof, because it is not bulletproof. You know, when the whales make a move, it doesn't bloody matter, like, what the charts are telling you. You know, certain very reputable chartists have been saying there is absolutely no way there's going to be a bullish movement at this time. And it's a massive, like a 90 to 95% chance this is going to go down to $4,000. And subsequently, it has gone up to $8,000. So even the biggest experts in the game can't actually say what will happen, because people are trying to be doctors, but in this industry, you don't need qualifications to be a doctor. It's a bit like everybody's like Dr. Nick from The Simpsons. You studied at some obscure and probably fictional medical school and think that you've got the ability to say what's going to happen. But all I can pretty much say, because I'm not a financial advisor, I don't have financial qualifications, is that the worst time to buy is during an aggressive, push, an aggressive bull momentum, because, once it calms down, then there's every likelihood you could get burnt. So from a personal standpoint, I am going to be holding on. So regardless of what people are saying, and regardless of what the sentiment seems to be turning around into, it doesn't change how I feel. But again, it highlights why you need to be buying when people are fearful. You can see right now that there's a change in sentiment. What happened here and here and over here is that people were fearful. And that is the time to buy, when people are fearful. When the fear has disappeared and people are greedy, that is not the time to buy, because everybody's FOMOing. They fear they're going to miss out. They buy because they think that the price is going to go and escape them. And so they buy, in panic, because they think, oh, I missed the opportunity. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to fall victim to it. Yes, there are cryptocurrencies I wish I had bought before this went up, but I don't think that that was the last opportunity. So something that I like about these bullish momentums is that when it does become bearish again, is that you can see, right, I saw what goes up at times like this. I saw what the flavor is, what people are really liking, and I am going to sit and wait for another opportunity to get it. So, like Bitcoin Private, which is essentially a fork of Bitcoin, but to have some of the, I suppose, characteristics of, a privacy cryptocurrency, where the sender and receiver details are kept private, the transaction is essentially private. So it's like a Dash meets Bitcoin has now all of a sudden come to the fore and people are talking about it. Whereas before, nobody was talking about it. It's been one of the big rises. So it just puts it into people's peripheries. Nucleus Vision, again, people were wondering, should I go into it? Should I not go into it? It was at 2.6 cents. Now it's at 4.2 cents. This is an exciting one. OneChain, I knew would kind of just flip and rocket, and as soon as there was some bullish momentum. And this is probably the one that I wish I'd got more of. Everything else I think I got enough of in anticipation of a bull momentum, of a bull movement. So what this is good for is essentially looking for, what do I want to get next time? What are the ones I want to keep my eyes on next time? And then research it. And don't necessarily just wait for a YouTuber or somebody else do the work for you. Because something that I see a lot in forums is people saying, what should I get? This has gone up, should I wait, should I buy? And to be honest, it's irritating, because there shouldn't be. People should think for themselves. And the reason I say that is because if somebody says, right, yes, you should buy OneChain, or you should buy Fusion, or you should buy Axpire or something, then people will just do it because somebody else has instructed them to do it. And how it should be is people should do it because they personally believe in it, because they see the value of it, the long-term value. They have properly analysed it, along in the way like how I do my Savage Cryptos, properly analysed it, so that fundamentally, you know, they are investing in it because they believe in it and they can hold it through the bad times. And there have been some bad times, and I have held a lot of my cryptocurrencies in spite of those bad times. So, my personal recommendation, although it's not, you know, I'm not saying do it because I'm doing it, but I'm just not going to be buying into a spike, because you can see it kind of goes up to 8,000, you know, 150, maybe even hitting 8,200. But then it calms down. You know, the emotions calm down. And once it's calmed down, that is when it's got the potential to turn around again from being bullish and greedy to being cautious and fearful. And that sentiment, if it's echoed by enough people, will make the reverse of this action happen, where we may see a big, you know, red candle. But the fact of the matter is just to go back to, you know, what I was talking about, which is essentially quite a few positive articles. There have been a ton of positive articles recently. But having said that, it's not made any difference to the price. So again, it's just, I think this is just trying to make a square peg fit in a round hole. Because people are saying, well, there must be a reason. Let's look at all the news items. Let's look at this. Let's look at that. And personally, all it needs is for a couple of big whales, a couple of a Soros and a Rockefeller at the same time, very intelligent people that are essentially getting in where people are fearful, like people should be. This is where you should be working. They are buying into people's fear. And the problem with that is that they can also sell into people's greed. So, you know, whether it's temporary or not, or whether it's long term, I don't think this is a signal for long term. I do think that if anything was demonstrated yesterday, is that there is going to be a point, and I don't think that point is now, personally speaking, but there is going to be a point where the bulls do come back properly, and when they do, it is going to be a violent maneuver. It is going to skyrocket quickly, which is why I have been saying accumulate during the dips, because when it goes up, you won't be able to catch it up. And what the last 24 hours have demonstrated is that when that does happen, you kind of find yourself buying because the social proof is suddenly there and back. People are buying, and there's the social proof behind cryptocurrencies. All cryptocurrencies currently are rising because the social proof has returned. And you shouldn't wait for the point where the social proof is returned. You should accumulate when the fear is there, so that when the social proof does return, which it always does, and this whole last 24 hours has proved that, once it has returned, you just sit back and watch. Which is what I've kind of been doing. I haven't thought to myself, right, I'm going to buy something, because I have been doing accumulating during the dips. I have bought at previous dips, and I'm happy with what I've got to keep it going. So there we are, Marble Arch. So with all that chatting, which I've just been doing, let's now open it up to you guys. What are you guys thinking and feeling? And by the way, smash up the likes. Smash up the likes. There's nearly 2,000 people watching, only 377 likes. Smash those likes up. Let's have a look and see who's with us. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Karan. Hey, Dazfire. Super Kid's here. Super Kids, he's actually in just the other room. Anyone else? Any more? Any other Sphinx? Any people? What are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking and feeling right now? Ethan Hunt, hello. Do you still like Trinity? Yes, I do like Trinity. Somebody asked me earlier, somebody said, you know, are you selling Trinity because Lola's gone? No. You know, Lola, I got involved in Trinity, and I did my first video on Trinity before I knew Lola. So, like, that, of course, is not a reason. I've always thought it was a great product. Of course, Lola being around and introducing me to, you know, to everybody, showing me everything, crypto-related, obviously, had, you know, kind of made me think, right, okay, I've seen the product, you know, it was like, it allowed you guys to get an inside view, which is what we had in San Francisco, and that was all great. However, it's the product that speaks for the project, not necessarily, you know, certain individuals, although they do help, and it is a big loss to Trinity to not have Lola, but it's not, you know, but you know, as great as she is, you know, it's not everything. It's not everything. Showing you everything. Lola showing everything. I kind of regret saying that now. But yeah, did it happen? Did it not? Who knows? That didn't happen. Didn't happen. I think the news of Rothschild, Soros and Rockefellers jumping on board gave more confidence to the market. Well, actually it didn't, because what happened initially is that people were fearful of that. People thought, well, you know, these are very, very, you know, intelligent, well-versed, very experienced investors. They are people who know an opportunity and can capitalize on that opportunity, and sometimes at the detriment of others when in terms of manipulation. So yes, that was positive news, but also people saw it in a very negative light. So it was almost 50-50 news. And you don't know if what this is, look, the price has gone down to 8,771. You don't know if what this is actually them, you know, buying at 6,000 and selling into the demand now. So, you know, if that is the case, this is how they accumulate more. You know, if these big investors were to have bought in during people's fear and bought in massively in conjunction with events that mask such a buying activity from whales, then it gives the ability to sell into the demand and allows them to just keep on buying and selling, because most of the big whales are not investors. They're not holders. Most of the big investors are traders. So they buy at the time when it's low. They sell when the demand is there. And they repeat. So, you know, so at the end of the day, you know, it is a good thing that they're in, and it's not a good thing at the same time, because such activity can happen and take the smaller investors by surprise. And essentially, the whales gobble up the babies. Okay, so there we are. Cool. Nice one, Wendy. I could do with a glass of wine, Miss Sen. Your next 100x. I'm kind of thinking about not telling 100x's, because all that happens is people say, oh, Supo, you know, shills another coin. And to be absolutely honest, it's more harm than good. So, you know, I'll talk positively about cryptocurrencies, but I'm not going to make the claims it's going to hit 1,000x, because that's just stupid. But there is one that I think could hit 1,000x, but I'm not, you know, I'm not going to reveal them anymore, because of the way you guys, you know, take such information and then turn it around. Don't say it as bro. Difficult not to. There's thousands of them. And quite frankly, you know, they're fucking idiots. Anyway, let's have a look. Sell Verge before the announcement or hodl? Well, you know, most traders will always sell before the news is announced. So, you know, it all depends on what you're thinking and feeling. Do you want the money or do you believe in the project? That will dictate where your decision is. And you can do both. You can want the money, believe in the project, sell the news, and then buy lower and take a bigger position. But again, that's up to you. Everything changes but you. Anything else? I don't think Yggdrash is 1,000x. I don't think Yggdrash is 1,000x. But I do think it's got very strong capability as a project. Neurochain versus OneChain. They're two separate types of infrastructure. One is AI based, the other one is basically cross-chain for the financial ecosystem. I am pissed I didn't buy more WAM. I'm not gonna lie, I should have bought more WAM, but I didn't, you know, and there we are. The You Live and Learn. It's dash number 2, you know? It's dash number 2. Anything else? Any other Sphinx? It's my birthday. Can you congratulate Jordi van der Heijden? I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Yes, I did get in next. Yes. Any more for any more? So, what do I think are good buys? Bye. What do I think are good buys? Well, personally, these are the ones that I like, okay? So, outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are like the kind of no-brainers, I suppose, then you've got Bitcoin Cash, which I like for its battle with Bitcoin. You've got EOS for its battle with Ethereum. I like Cardano a lot. Neo, obviously, I like a lot. What else? VeChain, I think, is a powerhouse. This is going to go much higher. This is going to be worth, I believe over 50 billion at some point in the next 18 months. I think it's going to go up dramatically. Binance I like. Ontology I like, but think is very expensive and wouldn't venture into it. Wanchain, obviously. What else? Archain I really like. Zilliqa I like a lot. It has had a nice boost as a result of this bullish movement, but I do think it will come back down. Aeon I need to look a little bit more at, but could be promising. Walton, despite their PR disasters, their product and value proposition has improved recently. So I like Walton a bit more as a project, even though there is a lot to be, a little bit reserved about. Dragon Chain I was bullish on earlier, not as bullish now. I don't carry the same sentiment I did have with it because I just think that a lot of their value has been realized, and the ICO that they've recently helped launch on their platform is crap. Ethos is obviously great. Elastos I do have looked into very briefly, and it's interesting. Nucleus Vision. Anything else? Power Ledger. Neblio potentially. And those are the ones that I really like in the top 100. Those are the ones that I've kind of got my eyes on in the top 100. And then the rest is kind of, well, it's more like, it's subjective at the end of the day. It's all like, what are you fancying? But those are what I fancy. I really fancy a lot of these, for gains from a gains perspective. Internet Node Token, someone's just asked. Now, Internet Node Token was just ridiculously undervalued recently. 11 cents it was. 16 cents is back up. It's doing a lot better. So I think that, Internet Node Token is I think it's underestimated and unknown. That's what I think it boils down to. It's not that it's necessarily undervalued, but it is. But it's because most people don't know about it, don't understand it, and it hasn't been marketed to them because this is very much a Chinese project, a Chinese marketed project as well. And this is essentially IOTA, okay? It's not Tangle, but it has got a protocol that enables devices to communicate with the blockchain, a lot like in the way in which Tangle does. Icon I haven't missed as such. Icon, I've already said is probably a 10xer for the year. Probably maybe a bit more. Not a lot more, though, personally speaking, because they've already launched a mainnet. They're already kind of up and coming. They're already, moving along. They've realized a lot of value already and have already 100x'd. The money has been made. With Wanchain, the money hasn't yet been made. So although it's at a similar point, the money hasn't properly been made yet with Wanchain. I think that Wanchain, kind of if you bought at $3 or thereabouts, you could be looking at about 15 times gain this year. Maybe way more. I did say initially that I think this is going to be $35 at the end of the year. It's very likely this could be more because this is one of the hyped ones. One of the, and I mean hyped with actual substance. Anyway, why the fuck not? Thanks, Wendy. I'm proud to be your superhero. Right, okay, I think that's it for today. What's your thoughts on IN's ecosystem? Shit, to be honest. Anyway, so Zebi I think's a home run, I've already said. Aphelion I think is a potential, that's a bit like Switch.io. It's a little bit of an under the radar version of Nex. But Aphelion could do really well, particularly on the back of Nex. The difference between Nex and Aphelion largely is Neo's endorsement, Neo's support. But Aphelion is still a potential powerhouse decentralized exchange that is based on the Neo blockchain as well. Anyway, there's lots of people saying stuff. I'll maybe answer one or two more. Opinions on Vice Industry Token, or Vice. So let's have a look. Are they even on here? They are now on here. Last I heard, they were trading on IDEX. I don't know if they have gone else, if they're on another exchange now. Oh, Hit BTC. Oh, they're not even on IDEX. Well, I'm sure they were on IDEX. But anyway, so Cryptopia, Hit BTC. So, you know, this ICO was intended to be about 4 cents. So it's lost a cent from that. And I haven't really kept up to date with Vice because I kind of lost interest early on. Because I just didn't have clarity on how they would make money. But, you know, this went down to 1.6 cents. So at the moment it's on a bit of a high. I think they are going to be... I think Playboy is going to allow for Vice tokens to be used as a method of payment with the whole brand, you know, and where they sell things. So it's potentially promising. But I just don't think that it's got necessarily the commercial... Well, I guess it's got commercial appeal because, you know, people understand. I've got to be careful here because my son's watching, but that industry sells. However, a lot of people don't approve of it. So that's where it loses a bit of appeal. Co-vesting, I think, is great. So there we are. I think I've done all the questions. So there's the opinions of Superman regarding the bull. So if I'm right, then great. If I'm wrong, I don't care because ultimately I have been accumulating during the dips, and I'll just wait and watch things go up. You know, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. But I'm waiting to see what's happening because I personally think that when this is aggressive, when it comes back properly, I mean when the bulls really come back, then I think it's going to be a sustained version of this. It's just going to be up, 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 up. I think that's how it's going to go, and that I haven't had the signs of. So I personally am not yet convinced this is the real bull run. So that's that for today, people. Hope you enjoyed. Hope I'm not looking too red right now because of the light, and I'll see you next time. Thank you all for coming. Make sure that you stay. Smash up that flipping like if you haven't already. I'm not convinced there's enough likes on this stream. Let's have a quickie look. 1.9k people watching. 578 likes. It's just not enough. So smash up those likes on the way out. Smash them up like you're saying. Thank you, Superman, for another stream. And I'll see you next time, peeps. It is lights out, all out.